one way or the other abusing.
Yes.
Is it possible? And if it's possible,
extremely possible.
Why will it be possible?
So let's try and understand abuse. Abuse in general, in entirety, is any act that purports to gain control over one person. Do you understand? Now, it is a psychological process. So, I mean, a lot of the times you hear people say, but why didn't you leave? It's not so simple because of the psychological underpinnings. It's like you've been hooked to certain things. And if, of course, I make you feel like I'm your life, you can't move away regardless of all that's going on.
Exactly.
So, majority of the people I work with are actually very well accomplished people who are undergoing abuse from a partner. So it can affect anyone. Don't get it wrong. You could be affected sometime. I could be affected. It has nothing to do with your socioeconomic status, blah, blah, blah. It has nothing to do with that. It's an act which is gradual. It's a sequence. So as the sequence progresses, you fall into the zone. And once you're in the zone, it's extremely difficult. I mean, the statistics shows that for people who undergo a lot of like sexual abuse and physical abuse, they threaten to leave 7 times before they actually do.
How many times?
7.
Why 7 times?
And you see, there is a conditioning, a psychological conditioning that is created. Now, in most cases, people who are abusers, they have a cunning way of explaining why they did what they did. Contrary to what most people think, the abuser won't abuse you every day for the rest of your life. They abuse you and then they come and cry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do this. Then you start to feel pity for them, that they are troubled. They might give you a story of how they were abused when they were children. So you feel like, I can help this person. But it's all part of the sequence of getting you hooked.
For you to stay.
So it's a sequence of things that happen. And it's not so straightforward or as simple as most of us perceive it. I mean, if someone slapped me, I will leave. It's not so simple. You become hooked or anchored onto that person because of the way that they have treated you. And of course, they have all these bouts of good and bad. And as humans, when people treat you very terribly and then they treat you nicely, something is created. They are really sorry. And then your heart melts for them. And they'll maltreat you again. And they'll say something like, I was just having a bad day. So they make an excuse for it. It was the alcohol I had. I'm so sorry. And so then it gets you into a sequence of off and on, off and on. And you get confused at the point, am I off or am I on? Then when you are confused, you are now ready to be manipulated.
That is the
if you're resolute, you can't be manipulated.
Exactly.
So that's what happens. It's like a shaking. They sieve you to a point where
you can't,
and then they can continue. So that's the sequence that we must notice.
So I asked about factors, and you told me that all inclusive, probably before somebody will be sexually abused, that person might be emotionally abused as well, or economically abused as well, or probably physically abused as well. So these are some of the factors. Do we have any other thing attached to these things you've said that also can bring about sexual abuse? Sexual abuse?
We know that technically when people have been abused earlier in their lives and they've sort of embraced it as a norm, they are more likely to be abused in future. So let's say if I have client A who was abused by an uncle or someone close to them when they were little, when they get married and they are being abused by their partner, it's normalized. It's almost as if, that's what it is to be in a relationship. That's what it is to show love. And you'll be surprised to hear that I've had people who say, I like it when my partner beats me.
That is why I asked about the cultural, traditional stuff like that, because we hear that unless the husband will beat, and woe betides you being a neighbor to stop them or to come in between the fight, then you are doomed.
Exactly.
I don't know.
And these are cultural explanations that, I mean, not explanations, they are cultural ideas that have been created. It's like saying that you beat children because you care about them. So let's take it into marriage. You beat your partner because you care about them. Unfortunately, the beating is always one way. It's not as if both partners can take turns beating
No,
each
it's
other.
one person beating the other person.
And that's where the control component comes in again. And for most people, they develop what we call a sense of learned helplessness. Like, I can't do anything about this, so I just accept it, and accept the fact that I should be beating once or twice a week.
Chai.
Yes.
Chai. Viewers, as we are learning, you know, in as much as we want to heal wounds, you need to talk about how that wound came about, so that you can give the prescribed antidote to heal that wound. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, contributions, our WhatsApp platform 0559 680066, 0559 680066, or via Facebook page, Hope TV GH. You can send your questions, your comment there, and I'll have time to read for you. In case you just joined in, we are discussing sexual abuse in marriage, and probably as time goes on, we have time again, we'll talk about sexual abuse in relationship and probably in children and rape, as cause it's all goes down together in the same lane. How do we know this partner is being abused sexually in matrimonial home?
So you see, in many cases, it's difficult to infer sexual abuse, except you're a professional and you are privy to information, and the partner tells you, like, this goes on, this goes on. Interestingly, sometimes people are being sexually abused and they don't even know it. Like, I had a client whose husband would forcibly have anal sex with, and it seemed normal because that was the trend. In as much as she didn't like it, it happened so much she accepted it.
Whoa!
Do you get my point? But normally, you would pick up on the physical symptoms, and we're looking at most of the same symptoms that occur in physical abuse, like when you see unexplained scars or injuries on them, or you see maybe their eyes, like it's always lit, scarlet, or they've put creams under it, unexplained fractures, bouts of being tearful. Those are the main things that you can use to pick. Now, whenever I identify physical abuse, I almost know that sexual abuse is present. If I ever work with a client who's being physically abused, I can say accurately about 95% that the client is being sexually abused in the process too. So it's the physical signs that normally would give us some insights, because the wounds that it causes psychologically, you can't infer.
You can't see them. You can't
in
see
the
them.
face. And most of them have also been conscientized to the point that they cannot talk about it. And if they show any weakness to show these things at home, that's more fear created at home.
Exactly.
So they learn to keep up appearances and have like a double personality, the one at home and the one outside.
So they come to publicly. They come and they are very beautiful. They
look good.
They walk with their husbands or their wives, wearing the same kind of dress, smiling here and there, holding hands and cleaning faces. But what goes on within, what goes on there, it is something serious. And as you're saying that, we can't see physically. You can't see.
Difficult.
Difficult.
No, psychologically you can't see.
Physically
you can.
So how do you see physically? Because it's sexual. How do you see physically?
Well, that's what I said. I can't infer the sexual, except I'm having like a gynecological examination
so that you
in the process. But if I start to see you have several unexplained scars all over your body, or piercings, you have multiple fractures, you have abdominal pains that are unexplained by any gastrointestinal disorder, I'm very quick to know that you are perhaps being assaulted significantly at home or by your partner.
Okay.
And so that's what gives me
the
idea to start going into the angle of, are you being sexually abused?
Okay, so you it will make you ask that question straight.
Exactly. And sometimes, I mean, if you ask, are you being sexually abused, you might not even get a response. But to ask questions like, are you forcibly asked to have sex?
Okay.
Or sometimes, and yes, and it's, I mean, I forgot to say this. Some people have been sexually abused with threats, where one partner threatens the other partner with their children.
How?
if you don't do this, I will beat the children up.
So to save the kids,
yes,
she needs to do that.
He or she will have to do it. So you see.
Oh, God have mercy.
Yes. If today you don't let me do this one, I will beat the children. And in many cases, when there are these abuses, the abuse goes to the children as well. And you know how they, I mean, if you think about you as an adult, you're being physically abused in this extent, to this extent, then with the children, then what? So you know, so they create the environment that allows you to constantly follow. Because if you don't, there are too many things at stake.
If you don't, there are too many things. I said, there's a message from Facebook. He said, Nay Diabosaki says, this is a very serious issue that needs serious education. Most Adventist wives now abuse their husbands sexually, starving them. Some married women today delight themselves in such atrocious act. Pastor Video got great job too. Thanks, Senior. And he also added this: some women also intentionally refuse to bath or keep themselves clean for their husbands.
Oh wow. Okay.
So now with other one that you're saying that my wife said I should bath before I have sex. So the women also will refrain from bathing because she knows. Of about of couples. Okay, yeah. So if you're a counselor, when you have people sitting to be counseled for premarital counseling, let's try to talk about sex because it is important. It is important. Senior, I think that it is getting interesting. But let me ask this. Now we are establishing the fact that physically, when there are this sequence of bruises, sequence of time happens, emotionally we can't see them unless probably that person opens up or is closer to you and you see some behavior which are pretending. Because somebody you know well can be off as you are sitting with him, can be off, and you ask then probably is it okay for the first time? That's what we as counsel ask, are you okay? Oh, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But when it's those things continues, then you can prove further.
Yes, it raises eyebrows.
Exactly.
But you see, let's also understand that when it comes to emotional challenges or psychological challenges, they seem to present almost the same symptoms across board. So it could be just an effect of stress from work. It could be a marital issue, it could be educational, it could be financial, etc., etc. So it is always difficult to tell what exactly is causing what. But normally what I say is when you pick up sudden changes in people's behavior, for especially people who are high achievers or they're doing well, I mean, they shouldn't be having problems as you would see it. And then you are noticing these kinds of withdrawal, isolation, talking down about themselves. So for example, you pass a compliment about them and then they say, no, I'm not beautiful. Or I'm not handsome, or they don't believe in themselves. Those are part of the processes of devaluing. And they may preempt that they might be undergoing some form of abuse.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. So, viewers out there, we are working on to get the antidote to help people in that. So now, with the exception of probably this gynae search, emotionally we are not going to see them. Physically, continuous some abuse. You could see this bruises here and there. That probably will let us know that indeed this person is under serious abuse. Because and you said with that you can even ask. Sometimes are you forceful?
Exactly.
But these are mainly with women.
Yes.
With men, how do we notice certain things?
Well, it is difficult. The presentations that I've had in many men is them vehemently saying that, can you imagine being in a house where your wife won't let you have sex?
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
that is normally a key concern when it comes to men. Women generally, or females, would verbalize the other things. And of course, because males have the more dominant, status in society and are more bigger and stronger, the physical aspects are normally perpetrated by men
Okay.
on women.
Okay.
For the men I have worked with, the key concern has been when your wife says, if you don't do this, like don't buy me this car, you can't have sex with me. Or if you don't, so you see, they basically don't even consider it as an abuse. They only see it like my wife is being difficult. And that's how bad it is when most people don't even notice that they are being abused, especially because of the pattern that is created, the pattern of manipulation. So most people who are being manipulated and abused don't even recognize that they are being abused.
So not all abuse have that physical affection like
all.
a little bit.
Sometimes simple ignoring is a form of abuse because you're doing it to gain control. Okay? Sometimes even passing derogatory remarks about your partner's sexual organ can constitute abuse.
Okay.
Because you are letting them down.
Okay.
Like a man who says, "Oh, my wife, you smell." Or
That's
even-
emotional abuse. That's it.
Exactly, it gets to them. And they may not want to engage in the process. But you are doing that on purpose to devalue them. So in many abuses, people will devalue you.
Okay.
They will rob you of your self-worth and your self-esteem.
Okay.
Where then your self-esteem is something you are working towards.
Okay.
So you want to do things that your perpetrator would say, "Oh, well done," and that gives you your sense of self-worth. In that essence, every command you will do, because
Exactly.
that's what justifies your self-worth.
Okay. Stealing sex. I don't know how most men steal sex. Probably the wife is asleep, and by the time the wife realizes, they are having sex with them. Sometimes the husband will be asleep. They will. What can we say about this? Is it sexual abuse? Is it rape? Is it what?
You see, if it falls within the category of I don't want it, so maybe you are stealing sex, yes, but your partner has complained severally about it, I don't want it, that would constitute abuse.
So if it happens,
Yes.
it happens. The wife complains. It happens. The wife complains, and after wife complaining, the husband still doesn't care.
That would
continue
be
doing
abuse.
them. It's abuse.
Because that would be without consent.
Exactly, because
See,
the woman or the
exactly.
man is asleep.
See, if you look at sexual, forgetting the law, it talks about unlawful carnal knowledge, which is you engaging in a sexual activity that the other person does not consent to. It talks about forcing it, and even talks about the fact that in the process of sexual activity, if the partner says stop, you must stop.
Yeah, there no.
Oh yeah, dear no. So people have argued, like most people have argued that for sexual intercourse, they believe that the consent is express. It is given before the activity is initiated.
Stop saying. Sir, stop saying. Stop. Why stop saying?
Say stop. I'm in discomfort. I don't want to do this again.
But is he not caring about the person's emotions? Stop saying.
No, it says stop. I could be suffering. That's why I'm saying stop.
Oh, Masa. That one, the viewers, I don't know. I don't know, but I don't know how it's going to take. But
that's the legal. That's what the law says. So this is not
Ghana here.
Ghana here. The Ghanaian law when it comes to sexual related.
So a wife can take the husband on to report this issue. Say,
I said stop. He didn't stop.
Masa, what if the man took it like it is you are reaching your orgasm and you are saying things?
It could be that.
Now why stop? Why stop saying that? And don't you also care about? Then the man can also go see.
So like I was saying, a lot of people have spoken against it. Yeah. But that is the law, and it comes from.
Oh, they should revisit that. They should review that law.
But that tells you how severe and significant
exactly
the rules on consent are. That the person must agree in whole, and even in the process, they have the right to say, "I don't want to do this, so you should stop."
Then we counselors, we need to upgrade ourselves when it comes to dealing with sexual issues with our clients. Especially pre-marital counseling, we need to upgrade. We need to let the partners know what it is, how, when they need to do certain things. Because this one, he just said, probably it's a law, right? It's a law, but I think that in the act for your husband or your wife to tell you stop, that thing, it might minimum that I might take it to be like she's getting somewhere, she's expressing herself, or probably you might also take it that the husband is somewhere, but that thing they need to review that particular portion, because if the law of consent, whatever we are saying in that business, it's a selfish law. It's a selfish law. It's a selfish law. So so what are some of the dangers when it comes to psychologically?
Well, generally we look at three categories. First of them has to do with the devaluing, so a loss of self-esteem. And self-esteem drives our motivation to do lots of things, to engage in goal-directed behavior, to achieve. Now, when you are devalued so much, you lose your own self-worth. You lose trust in yourself. And so that may predispose you from not being an achiever. Now, that can directly push you to the other two, which is having psychological breakdowns of either depression or, in extreme cases, what we call a post-traumatic stress disorder from that consistent cycle of abuse, especially when it has to do with physical abuse that is life-threatening, and when it has to do also with your children or threatening people close to you as a result of that.
There are a lot. So probably, and this also leads to divorce.
It can lead to divorce very easily. And the divorce is on two levels. From yourself suffering, and two, from society telling you how stupid you are to still be in it. And you see, that also goes to reinforce, first of all, your own depleted self-worth. And society tells you are so stupid for still staying. But I want people to understand that it's not as simple as we make it seem. I give you this example.
Okay.
We have grown to believe that, we have learned, we haven't believed, we have always known that Ghana had 10 regions.
Yeah.
Today is 16.
16. I don't even know the 6.
Regardless of us knowing that it's 16, occasionally people say, how many regions does Ghana have? We say 10 first before we say 16. So look at that conditioning. When you have lived in a certain conditioning for so long, to get out of it is the same process. Some days you are motivated and suddenly you lose it and the steam goes away. And it's not entirely your fault.
Okay.
It's a deep-seated psychological issue that needs expert care in order to be able to come out of.
Does it affect the way of thinking? Does it affect the way of...
Of course it does. It does. What it does, one, is robs you of your sense of safety. So essentially, every day you are in danger of some sort. And like I have said in many of these interviews, that everybody has a predisposition, or everybody can suffer a psychological challenge. All they need is a necessary trigger. So somebody may suddenly become psychotic, so wabodam, just because they had to go through that very gory act, or that they are constantly being put through this, and as their safety is threatened every single day, the stress load is too much for them, and then the mind just says, I can't do this anymore, and it closes your awareness and you are lost. Suicide has been also a very significant component when it comes to this. When people lose so much value, they start to feel that perhaps it's better off to be dead than to be alive.
It will be very unfortunate for your husband or for your wife to get to that peak where he or she will say that, well, let me end it. And she wouldn't think about suicide. Suicide people doesn't think about those around them. They don't. They think about themselves. They are selfish when it comes to their issue because it is applicable to them and them alone. So it would rather be unfortunate for your husband or for your wife, as a man of God, as a woman of God, as a child of God, married to this beautiful man or woman in church. You guys joined tied together in home. You did that cultural something beautifully. Everyone there knew that the marriage would go one, and all of a sudden abuse setting, distorting the life of the marriage, creating a lot of loopholes in our marriages. Now the dangers are clear. That one thing he said that I think that we need to be very careful about is the fact that suicidal ideations are there for men or women or husbands or wives to try it once. And those with suicidal ideation, they always have that tendency of trying it before with something else to see how it looks like. And the next time it comes, you might go see your husband or your wife down there. Then how do we help such people, society, the church, individual? How do we help them?
Okay, so there's only one way to help people in this instance. Step one, talk about it. Step two, talk about it.
The victim.
Step three, talk about it. Exactly.
But
you see
this stigma, this stigma.
But the point is this. So the stigma is laden within cultural motives and norms. And in many cases, as with our religious bodies, they'd say, let's pray about it. So someone is going through abuse, significantly say, oh, let's pray about it. Let's not disgrace your partner just yet. Now, in doing that, they are reinforcing the behavior in the perpetrator. Because when you protect the perpetrator, what you are doing is telling them you can get away with it. And if you don't talk about any form of abuse, you will never get out of it.
They need not to keep quiet. They shouldn't keep quiet.
At all. They have to talk about it.
But talking about it to who?
Well, everybody. In terms of abuse, you have to talk to everybody.
I know that in counseling, the only confidentiality that you can break is when somebody says, I want to commit suicide. That one you can break easily. But when somebody comes telling you that he or she is sexually being abused.
If you tell me that and you're a minor, I will report it. I have the legal right to do
report
that.
it, okay.
If you're an adult and I find that you are unable to gain that control, I can still report it. Legally, I have the right to
do that.
So you break confidentiality when anything the person tells you will put them in harm's way, or put another person in harm's way, or they're undergoing something that puts them in harm's way, for which they have no control over.
Because the reason why I'm asking is that a married woman who is being abused by the husband, and probably the husband is a pastor, an elder, a responsible personality in the society. How can she?
Good.
Where should she go?
So it's that line of thinking that will make the behavior continue.
So where should these people go to report?
That's why I say, we say talk to everybody. In Ghana, thankfully, we have the domestic violence unit, DOFSU. Go and talk to somebody there. Talk to a trusted friend. Talk to other pastors. Talk to your colleagues at work. All these people will come together to point you out on the manipulations that you're undergoing. If you don't talk about it, you'll suffer alone. People will never know. And don't forget that the sequence of that is why they isolate you in the first place. When they notice that maybe you have a certain friend who is very assertive, this your friend, I don't like the way they are. You know, this your friend, stay away from them. They are robbing you of somebody who will talk sense into you for you to recognize that you are being manipulated. You see, the church activities, I don't want you in the choir, they gossip too much. They are isolating you. Parent teacher association, no, don't go for those things, I will go. Still isolating you. And as you become alone, then they can manipulate you.
So when husband starts doing this, we should know that that is what they are robbing you from.
They're isolating you.
Okay.
That's all it is.
Okay.
You see, interestingly, many people go into marriages, and there is this advice that has been given across board. I hear a lot. Marriage is about you and your partner. So forget friends, forget everybody. Yes, it's true. In entirety, that is true. But you actually do need these other people for your sanity. Because the familiarity that builds in marriage can sometimes be very painful and can cause you to feel locked and trapped.
Viewers, I don't know, but we should forget about stigma. We should forget about people teasing us. And even with the reasons why a lot of people don't also say it's the responses from people in society.
Yes. Very true. Oh,
headline.
Oh, it's not necessary. Your husband is too prominent. Don't. I have threatened several people of exposing them.
We don't want marriages to collapse. We don't want children to suffer. We don't want husbands and wives to suffer. We want the reason why God put marriage together. We want it to stay. In as much as you are going through this emotional abuse or sexual abuse, as we are talking about, the answer, the solution is to talk about it. Probably you might have felt shy of people around you, but you can always have an external person that you want to deal with, so that the person can also talk to you and help you. Seth is available on phone, although he's very tight, but when he has the time, he can speak to you on phone. We are available. I'm available. You can drop your number to our WhatsApp platform, or you can personally send your name and where you are to 0559535554. We'll take it from there, because we want to help homes become that little heaven on earth, that when you return from work, your husband or your wife will receive you well. Seth, your final word when it comes to sexual abuse in marriages.
Well, I know that government has done a lot.
Okay.
I know that a lot of private actors have also tried to do a lot to ensure that they can offer help to people who are undergoing these kinds of challenges. The ACT Foundation is one of such great initiatives. I know that the Ministry of Gender recently launched an app. I've forgotten the name of the app, but basically it's to help people to report these challenges. I know that especially during lockdown also, DOVSIT together with the United Nations also launched a hotline. The number is 055 1900.
Okay.
So 055 1000 900.
055 1000. That's 1,000.
Yes,
900 900.
And if you call their trained professionals and counselors who would help you to, first of all, get out of the zone. So one thing that we try to do a lot in many of these abuses is the first to create a sense of safety. So get them out of that zone.
Okay.
Now, we've been able to secure, in some cases, restraining orders for the perpetrator against
the wife or
the husband. And so they are not, so for example, they kick the husband or the wife out of the house for a number of weeks. And when it's done, we get another restraining order.
Okay.
Just to instill some safety. To get them back on track. Because that's one of the most significant things, which is, if I leave, where do I go? Especially when the person has engaged also in financial and economic abuse, and you have nothing. To go. So you wonder.
The church should have been a safe haven for such people. But rather, the church pushes people away or creates that sin. If I'm the pastor and I'm abusing my wife sexually, If I'm not the elder, I'm abusing my wife sexually. I'm the reverend father abusing my wife sexually. I'm the catechism, whoever, and I'm abusing my wife sexually. And people get to hear, how can they come also out to tell you, the father, the pastor, the reverend, the whoever, that they are being sexually abused? All of us have a role to play to help such people to find peace in their marriages so that marriages could also last longer. This is where our program will end our sexual abuse in the marriages. I know that you have learned a lot. You have learned a lot, and I want to lobby so that he will come again to talk about divorce and rape, because we need to know about these things, because now after COVID a lot of marriages are being broken. We need to know the factors. We need to know why, and probably we'll get people here to also share divorce issues with us so that we know that it is real. We hear about them mostly, but allowing people to talk about it, it's also something that we need to also learn. We need to heal the wounds of our heart in respect of whatever is happening. Slick Afri, God bless you for the fabric. Alpha Art, God bless you for the flyers that you always do. And as I said, in case you want to help this program, 0559 535554, 0559 535554. Just talk to us and we will be very glad to receive you. And if you have any issue, either this number or 0559 680066, please, when you put out your issue and we also call, we beg of you, pick and talk to us. And when you tell us you call again, please do call again, because of you, that's why this program is here. So, Senior Seth, can you promise my viewers that you come again?
By God's grace.
All right. So it's no. He said it. So he said it. We're coming again. We're going to talk about rape and we'll talk about divorce. He will bring us out. He's very tired. So as he has promised, I need to use that time that he has given, so that, because if he leaves, I won't get him again. So viewers, thank you so much for watching Wounds of the Heart. It's always a blessing for you to be watching us and to giving us your comment, and we know that because of you, we want to take this program to another level. So help us for that thing to come through. I've been your regular host. I'm Pastor Daniel Abedu Bieraba. I'm out.